Hello everyone, hope you all are good, and we are going to continue with the same chapter that we have been doing from past 4 lectures, and today is the 5th lecture for chapter 2, and overall this is the 13th lecture since we have started this subject. Yes. And if I am not wrong, we have left the sum, illustration 4 in between in last lecture, and so we are going to continue with the same sum in today's lecture. But before that, let us quickly revise what has been completed so far. Yes. In the very first lecture of this chapter, we have had an idea about transactions, its types, the theoretical base. Then we have completed illustration 1. Then we have understood about how to recognize a transaction to be cash or credit. Yes. Then the third illustration, the most interesting illustration of all, we have learned to find out the two effects, that is dual effect of transactions. And in the fourth lecture, we have understood about types of accounts. How many types of accounts are there? 3. Personal, real and nominal. Personal account, what is included in personal accounts? Natural person and legal artificial person. Yes, natural person and legal artificial person. And then if we are talking about real accounts, all the accounts of goods and all the accounts of assets. Yes. All those accounts come under the category of real accounts. Yes. Okay. Then lastly, nominal accounts. All the accounts of incomes and all the accounts of expenses come under the category of nominal accounts. Yes. Alright, then let us continue with the illustration that we had been doing in the previous lecture and that we left in mid. So yes, I have a textbook on my desk and I hope you too have your textbook with you. And let us begin, let us continue with illustration 4, 17 number. Yeah. Rent paid account. Okay, we have completed up till 16 and 17 it says rent paid account. Rent, you know what a rent is. Yes, of course you know this. Rent paid. You have paid rent. Who are you? You are the owner. I have always explained one thing, I have always instructed one thing, that whenever you study or whenever you solve any of the sums, always consider that the business is yours. You are the owner. So rent paid. Who paid the rent? You. Yes. So this is the expense. Yes. Business आपका ही है. So anything that you pay is an expense, and all type of expenses come under the category of, yes, nominal accounts. Yeah. Okay. So rent paid account is the nominal account. Rent paid is an expense of business. This is the brief explanation given. Yes. Okay. Then we have 18th. Reliance shares account. Okay, Reliance shares account. This is an investment in shares, and investment in shares is always considered to be an asset for business, and all the assets come under the category of, yes, real accounts. So Reliance shares account comes under the category of real account, Reliance share account is asset of business. Then discount received. Who received discount? You, or say me. If it is my business, I will consider that I have received discount. If you will study this, you will consider that you have received discount. Yes. So discount received is an income of the business. Yes. So all the incomes come under the category of nominal accounts. So discount received, be it income, it is nominal account. So next one, Ahmedabad branch account. Ahmedabad branch account, you can see the word itself says that it is a legal artificial person, and legal artificial persons, all of them come under the category of, yes, personal accounts. So I think by now you know this well, yes, that which account is what type of account and why. Yes. So far we have solved, I think, 20 accounts. I mean, the name of the account is mentioned and we are supposed to mention its type and we are supposed to give its brief explanation. Yes. So all the types of accounts are included within this 20 that I have explained. Few of them were personal accounts, few of them were real accounts, and few of them were nominal accounts. I'll repeat it once more, that personal accounts, they include the accounts of natural person and legal artificial person. Then talking about real accounts, they include the accounts of goods and assets. Further, nominal accounts, they include the accounts of incomes and expenses. Yes. So with this, I end the explanation for types of accounts here, and also I am not going to continue with the same illustration, as I think now you will be able to solve it on your own. So please study this, try to solve it on your own. Surely you will be able to classify them on the basis of its type, and if not, then do it again and again. Yes, and you can also let me know if you have any doubts. So yes, then you have illustration 5 even for the same. You should study this because all the names of the accounts are given within illustration 4 and 5, and also just because this is an illustration, its explanation, that is the answer for this, is also given. So in case you fail to mention its type, you should check in the textbook and then read its brief explanation, and definitely you will get to know that this is this type of account for this reason. Yes. So you will solve illustration 4 and illustration 5. Yes, in homework for today. Yeah. And now the next step, of course, is the rules of debit and credit. Yes, an interesting topic. I repeat, you are supposed to finish illustration 4 and illustration 5 on your own. You should try this. You will be able to solve definitely if you have paid attention towards the explanation of theory concepts. Yes. Alright, then let us begin with the new and the most interesting topic. Yeah, that is rules of debit and credit. Okay, first of all, what is debit, what is credit? All you know about this is that debit is the left hand side, credit is the right hand side in accounts. Yes, but elaborating it in chapter 2, rules of debit and credit are in context with the types of accounts, of which the very first is personal account. Personal account, which includes a natural person and legal artificial person. The rules of debit and credit for personal account: debit, the receiver, and credit, the giver. Understand, this is extremely important, the most important. Yes, whatever you have studied up till now, step by step, a very new thing, new thing in each and every illustration. Yes, all of them are to be applied together in this concept. When this concept will be understood on the basis of the transaction. Yes, so rules of debit and credit based on the types of accounts: the first account, personal account, debit, the receiver, credit, the giver. Yes, you will debit the person who is receiver, you will credit the person who is the giver. This is the rule of debit and credit for personal accounts. Yes, let us consider a simple example for understanding this. Okay, purchased goods of rupees 5,000 from Radha. This is a simple random transaction. Okay, which is the first thing that you will observe in this? That is this an economic transaction or non-economic transaction? It is economic transaction. You have purchased goods of rupees 5,000 from whom? From Radha. This is economic transaction. Secondly, this is, yes, credit transaction, because goods have been purchased from Radha and amount is not paid. There is no mention of the word cash anywhere in this transaction. So obviously this is a credit transaction. Firstly, this is economic, then this is credit. Next, which is the next step that we have learned? The two effects. Yes. What did you purchase? You purchased goods. So which account is affected? Of course, purchase account. From whom? From Radha. So Radha account. These are the two effects. This is up till illustration 3, what you have learned. Yes, two effects. Now you might be having a question, ma'am, why you did not write goods account, you have written purchase account. Yes, I have explained this point that whenever you purchase goods, you are supposed to write down purchase account and not goods account. Please remember this. So purchase account, the first effect, Radha account, the second effect. Why? Because you have purchased from Radha. Now the fourth step mention the type. Yes. Purchase account. What did you purchase? Goods. Goods comes under the category of which account? Types of accounts. Real account. So purchase account is real account. Yes. Then Radha account. Who is Radha? Radha is a person from whom you have purchased goods on credit. She is a creditor. Yes. And creditor is personal account. When I was explaining personal accounts, I clearly mentioned that debtors and creditors all come under the category of personal accounts. So, Radha account is personal account. So this is the new thing that we are learning today, that once you have obtained the two effects, you will mention its types. Types on the basis of what? Yes? Yes, on the basis of the information. Purchase is of goods. Goods comes under the category of real account. Radha is a natural person. So Radha's account is personal account. Further, we have understood the rule of personal account. Let us apply that rule here. इन दोनों में से पर्सनल अकाउंट कौन सा है? ये. और पर्सनल अकाउंट का जो रूल हमने सीखा है वो क्या है? डेबिट इज रिसीवर, क्रेडिट गिवर. यस. सो राधा personal account, apply this rule here and just think, Radha is a receiver or is giver? Radha is giver. How? Read the transaction. You have purchased goods of rupees 5,000 from Radha. So Radha is giving you goods. And you are not giving 5,000 right now to Radha. You will give her? Yes, later. So Radha, with this context, be it personal account, she is a giver. And hence, Radha's account will be credited. Credit is written this way. Radha's account will be having a credit effect on the basis of the rules of debit and credit for personal accounts. Okay? You need to learn the rules of debit and credit thoroughly before we proceed with the new illustration. Yes, which is about that you will mention the two effects, you will mention its types, and also you will mention that which account will be debited, which account will be credited. So you see, it's not that simple. There is a long procedure. You need to be careful more than 100% here. Your complete attention should be here. Only if you understand each and every word, only then you can go ahead with this subject, trust me. Because the next chapter that we are going to start is completely based on this. Yes, you can even consider that we are just doing pre-preparations for the next chapters. Yes, so fine. Then let us consider, let us first understand the rule of debit and credit for a real account. Okay, we have understood about personal account and we have also considered an example for its understanding. Now we are going to study about real account. Real account. What is included here? Goods and yes, assets. Rule. Debit. Debit is written this way, DR. What comes in? Credit. What goes out. This is the rule for real accounts. Debit, what comes in, credit, what goes out, in consideration with goods and assets. I repeat, the rule for real account is debit, what comes in, credit, what goes out. Rule for personal account was debit, the receiver, credit, the giver. And rule for real account, debit what comes in, credit what goes out, in consideration with goods and assets. Yes, so let us apply this practically in an example. The example that we have considered previously for understanding the personal account. We'll consider the same example. Yes. Purchased goods of rupees 5,000 from Radha. Which were the two effects? Purchase account. This is the same example that I have just given before 3-4 minutes for understanding personal account, of course. Sorry. And Radha account. Alright. Type of account. Purchase. What did you purchase? You've purchased goods. Goods comes under the category of real account. So purchase account is real account. And Radha account. Radha is a natural person. So Radha account is personal account. Now you know the rule for personal accounts, even for real accounts. Yes. What is the rule for real account? Debit what comes in. Let me write it here for better understanding. What comes in. Credit what goes out. And for personal, debit, receiver, credit, giver. Apply these rules. There are two effects, purchase account, Radha account. This is purchase of goods. Goods comes under the category of real accounts, hence real account. Radha is a natural person and hence personal account. Yes, now you have to mention that this will be debited or credited. Yes, that whether this is going to be debited or credited, and same for this. Okay, then purchase account, real account. Once you mention its type, you have to apply that rule. What is the rule of real account? It is debit what comes in, credit what goes out. This is about goods. You have purchased goods. So goods comes in or goes out? Definitely, if you have purchased, goods comes in. So purchase account will be debited. With the context of this rule, debit what comes in? Obviously, what comes in? Goods. purchase account. You have purchased goods, goods comes in, real account, debit, what comes in. Radha, personal account, debit the receiver, credit the giver. Radha is the one who is giving goods and hence Radha will be credited because credit the giver. Simple. Now here you might be thinking, ma'am, we are the receiver of goods, then why you did not mention that? Yes, but you are supposed to write whatever is happening in your business. What did you do? You have purchased goods. So you wrote that yes, you have purchased goods. Whom did you purchase from? Radha. Radha becomes your creditor. So you will write that Radha is your creditor. Yes. Now if you start thinking that ma'am, what about us? So Radha must also be preparing accounts. She will write in her books of accounts. Yes. To whom she has sold goods. Yes. So please do not get confused here. Just understand the transaction, what is happening, write it down, mention its types and mention whether it is debit or is credit. Just that simple. Alright? Okay. So we are done with the two. Now we are supposed to understand the last one, that is, yes, which is nominal accounts. The rule for nominal accounts. First of all, what is included in nominal accounts? Yes, you are right. The one that you are thinking, all the incomes and expenses. Yes. Okay, now the rule of debit and credit for nominal accounts says debit all incomes, debit all expenses, my mistake, debit all expenses and loss, credit all incomes and gains. Simple, it's extremely simple. Debit, you will debit all the expenses and in case if there is any sort of loss, and you will credit all incomes and gains, profit, etc., etc. Right? Salary that you pay. You've just understood in illustration 4 that salary is a nominal account. Why? Because it is an expense. So, salary account will be having a debit effect. Salary account, nominal account will be debited as per the rules of debit and credit for nominal account. Then interest received. You have received interest. Income comes under the category of nominal account. As per the rules, incomes are to be credited. Just that simple. Yes. Okay. We'll consider a simple example again to understand this in a better way. Okay. Yes. Wages of rupees 600 paid in cash. This is the example that we are considering for understanding nominal account. Firstly, find out the two effects. Firstly, this is the cash transaction, and always in cash transaction, out of the two effects, one is of cash. So, you just need to mention the second effect, and which is obviously none other than wages. So, wages account and cash account. These are the two effects of this transaction. Now let us mention its type. Wages, you have paid wages. This is your expense. This is the expense of business. Expense is always nominal account. Cash is an asset, real account. Yes. Then further, now let us apply the rules. Nominal account, rule for nominal account: debit expenses and loss, credit incomes and gain. Real account: debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Apply this rule here. Wages account, nominal account. Wages is paid, it is an expense. Expense, debit. Here is the rule for nominal account. So this way, wages will be debited. Cash is an asset and hence it is real account. Yes, with the context of this transaction, cash comes in or cash goes out. This is real account and hence I am considering the rule of real account. I have paid cash from the business. So cash goes out and hence it will be credited. Alright. So this is all about the explanation of nominal accounts. Yes, we have considered an example for personal account, real account and nominal account. Yes, and here we end this session for today. The rules of accounts we have understood, and also we have understood it on the basis of the practical examples that I have given. Yes. So in the next lecture we are going to start with the new illustration about the mention of effects of debit and credit, just the way I have explained them in this example and few examples given previously while explaining personal account and real account. We are going to start with illustration 6 in the next lecture, and probably we will finish this lecture completely in next lecture. Yes, this is the last step in this chapter. Yes, and then we are going to start with a new fresh chapter. Yes, so the homework that I have given is illustration 4 and illustration 5, and also please learn the rules of debit and credit for personal, real and nominal accounts. Illustration 6 that I am going to start in the next lecture, I mean an illustration relevant to this topic, whichever it may be, right? That is extremely important to understand. Yes, so please make sure that you will learn the previous lectures. I mean, you will study the previous lectures thoroughly, and you will also solve all the illustrations before we start with illustration 6. because in illustration 6 we have to apply all the concepts all together which I have taught you in the previous illustrations, that is illustration 1 to illustration 5. Yes, will all be applied in illustration 6. This is how it is going to be. This was just a rough idea with some rough example. Yes, but now in the illustration you will be provided with the different transactions. Yes, and you will have to solve them, which I am going to teach you in the next lecture, and which is going to be the last lecture for this chapter. Yes, so that's all for today. I hope you were able to understand, and I also expect that you are watching video lectures thoroughly on regular basis. The subject is extremely important. You cannot ignore it at all. Yes, we are forming a base for standard 12th. Yes, so that's all for today. Here I end the session, and we'll see you all soon in the next session. Till then, please stay home. Do not move out unnecessarily and study well.